Hello, my lovelies. I hope you're all doing so well on this wonderful full moon in Gemini. I obviously wanted to come on here to talk about the current energies that we are moving through at this time as a collective. We did shift into Sagittarius season last week. So, with that energetic transition and shift happening, we left behind weeks of shadow work, of feeling kind of stuck in the darkness, in the depths. And we're moving into a lighter season of being because Sagittarius is a fire sign. So we're getting a renewed sense of light coming through the collective. And for people that are on a spiritual path, that are empaths, starseeds, our earth angels, we're going to be activated to step in and embody more of our light moving forward. And there's going to be, what I'm sensing, a radical change and shift happening in the collective at this time, because today I decided to go out for a walk, and as soon as I left, a huge snowstorm happened. And as I came back to my house, the storm passed and sunshine came out. So to me, this indicates that we're going to be moving through a lot of turbulent energy over the next few weeks. Things are going to be chaotic, and we can either be the storm that creates the change we want to see, or we're going to get swept away by the storm if we're not the ones leading the charge. And as sensitive beings, this can be extremely difficult, especially if we're empaths or highly sensitive beings. We tend to put the other person before our own needs because we can feel what the other person is feeling. And at this time, especially with this full moon being in Gemini, it's about shifting our focus to the greater good and shifting our gaze to what the collective needs at this time. It's not about over focusing on the individual in front of us and how they're going to receive us when we speak our truth. It's about looking at the bigger picture. And that is exactly what Sagittarius is here to teach us. It's not about focusing on those interactions. It's about looking, okay, big picture thinking. What is the vision that we're here to hold and to lead the collective towards, right? Because as light beings, angelic beings, what have you, with their sensitivity, we can often think that we're the ones that need to suffer on behalf of somebody else, and that it's better if we're the ones to suffer and to be in pain as opposed to the other person. So we often diminish our truth. We hold back our expression because we overly care about the other person and we don't want to hurt the other person. But right now, that Sagittarius energy and the Gemini full moon is coming through to say, enough. That's not serving. That's not helping anyone. That's not helping the collective move forward. By diminishing our voice, our expression to keep the other person comfortable, we're preventing change from happening. And this is change that's going to be better and make society evolve in a way where we're more connected to one another. We're more authentic, but we need to be the ones leading the charge. We need to be that change, and we need to drop feeling overly sensitive on how people receive us when we speak our truth. And Gemini and Sagittarius, air and fire, both being masculine polarities, this energy is going to be externally driven. So we're going to be externally motivated to speak out, and we're going to be encouraged to speak out. And it's an understanding that with both Gemini and Sagittarius, these energies can be overly blunt and unfiltered. And if we're not used to operating or speaking in that way, it can feel a little daunting or intimidating. But it's understanding that when we first start to speak our truth, when we first start to use our voice, it's going to be messy. It's not going to be perfect. But you're allowing yourself to become better as soon as you open that gate and start speaking. It's going to get easier the more and more you do it, but it's taking that first step of expressing yourself, no matter how it's received, and completely detaching yourself from how it is received, because at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. It's about you holding your ground and saying what you need to say regardless, and things like that. So I did want to draw cards for the collective to just kind of tap in and see what wants to come through at this time. And interestingly enough, the first card that was on the top of my deck was Sagittarius energy. And it says, this energy imbues power, superior confidence, and enthusiasm with faith, good fortune, and authority. So we definitely have this energy coming through to support us at this time. And yeah, as I said, things are going to be chaotic. And we need to just go with the flow and know that things aren't going to be perfect. They're going to be messy, and that's okay. So let's see. Okay, so the first card we have is Take Time to Breathe Out, Disseminating Moon. So right away, what I'm getting with this card is there's going to be conflict, there's going to be tension, and there's going to be misunderstandings moving through the collective at this time, especially over the next few weeks. As I said, I'm feeling a lot of chaotic energy today, and this is definitely energy that's going to be following us over the next few weeks. And I'm being called to share what I went through over the past weekend. So my family had a party, and obviously alcohol was being served. And it's an understanding that sometimes people overdrink, and when people overdrink, their shadows come out to play. So shadows are usually repressed, suppressed parts of a person's psyche that they remain unaware of. And alcohol has the ability to just bring them out into the light. And it's not always pleasant. So with this card coming out first, I'm definitely getting that there's going to be potentially either work drama, family drama. And it's making sure that you take the time to breathe out. Don't respond out of anger, frustration, or stress. Give yourself time. I usually like to give myself 24 hours. If something really sets me off, for the most part, give myself 24 hours to just breathe, recenter myself, and from that place, figure out how I want to approach the situation. Because if our emotions are running high, and they usually do on a full moon, we're not going to be as effective with our communication. We might not get our point across, and we might just inflame the situation a lot more than it needs to be. But again, with us being in a fire sign season, fire inflames, irritates even, and burns. So it's to kind of be expected that communications might just get inflamed and triggered over the next few weeks. And what I'm sensing is this can be work related or family related. For a select few of you, it's going to be romantically related. So it might be in your romantic partnerships and stuff like that. And it's an understanding that Sagittarius can be extremely blunt. And it's knowing that sometimes we need that bluntness, because as sensitive beings, empaths and stuff like that, sometimes we have this tendency to want to sugarcoat stuff so that whatever it is we're speaking is more digestible or receivable for the other person. But it's an understanding that when we do that, we diminish our truth, and that we need to stop doing that. And what I'm getting from Sagittarius right now is that sometimes you need to set things aflame, and that's just how you deal with things. And then, which is really interesting, we then have Show the World the Real You, full moon in Aquarius. So already these cards are kind of confirming what I've been sensing for the collective. And this is a build up on the post I wrote recently, where we need to start embodying fierce compassion and love. The time for gentleness and softness is ending, in the sense where it has hurt us. Because of our gentle and soft nature, we've diminished or diluted our truth, or we've held back from actually expressing ourselves. Because again, we don't want to hurt the other, but it's in realizing that when we hold back our truth, we diminish our light and we hurt ourselves. And that cycle is ending and being released under this full moon. because the universe is like, enough. People need to start embodying their light fully and stepping into being a warrior of light. And it's an understanding that being a warrior means you're fighting for something, you're standing up for something, and that requires courage and bravery. And you can't do that if you're biting your tongue, if you're staying quiet, if you're sugarcoating your truth because you don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers. That cycle as a whole is coming to an end and is being washed out during this full moon for sure. So just know that there's a re-up of light coming through for the collective at this time. And then we also have, you're very close to achieving your goal, gibbous moon. So again, it's understanding that as you step into speaking your truth more boldly, with more courage, everything you want is on the other side of that. And you need to just allow yourself to start speaking. And as I've said, understand that's going to be messy. If you've never set boundaries before, chances are it might not go well the first time you start to set those, or the first time that you speak out about something that's been weighing heavy on your heart at night. The words might come out all butchered, and that's okay. You're starting to open up that channel, right? Because, and I don't know why I'm being drawn to talking about this, but to circle back to the live I did about self-mastery, self-mastery happens when you've created different pathways to different parts of yourself successfully. So what does that actually mean? So if you think about the zodiac wheel, you think about your birth chart, you have all zodiac signs within you, all 12. And part of the spiritual path, and if that path involves astrology for you, is having cleared all pathways to all zodiac signs so that you can tap into each zodiac sign's energy at will and call them forward. So for example, right now we have a full moon in Gemini and we're in Sagittarius season. Wherever these zodiac signs sit in your birth chart indicate pathways of power, because that's the season and the energy we are currently in. So understanding where Gemini sits in your birth chart, let's say it's in your 6th house of service, health, and routine, Gemini energy is going to fuel you right now to start speaking in the workplace, getting your truth across. And let's say you have Sagittarius in your 7th house of partnerships, marriage, relationships. Sagittarius energy is going to fuel you to start thinking bigger, to hold a bigger vision, maybe when it comes to your business relationships. Maybe it means asking for more money. Maybe it means expanding the brand of your business and branching out into different areas. So it's understanding that when we're on a path of self-mastery and that path is intimately tied to astrology for us, we need to be able to unlock all the signs' wisdom. And that takes time, that takes practice. It doesn't happen overnight. You can't just tap into something and then embody it and master it just like that. It takes work. And right now we're being called to really embody and step into Gemini energy with the full moon and Sagittarius energy. And the main themes that are coming through with both of these zodiacs is the need to speak freely and sometimes be blunt and overly direct, and to release sugarcoating stuff, because both these signs don't sugarcoat a goddamn thing. They speak their truth and it's unfiltered. Gemini, it's an air sign. They're detached. They really don't give a fuck. And Sagittarius, being a fire sign, they're always on the hunt for truth, higher meaning, purpose. They don't care about the small, minute details. They have a grand vision that they're after and that they're trying to achieve and reach. And as a collective, we're being invited to step into these energies at this time. And depending on where Gemini and Sagittarius sit in your birth chart, that is the area of life that's going to be illuminated at this time and activated with these energies. And these energies are going to call you forward. And they're going to give you the invitation to either step up, level up into more of your power, your light, your authenticity, or to crumble and stay small and to hide and to diminish who you truly are. We have free will. We can always choose how we want to show up. or being offered an opportunity to change the dynamics, either at work, family, relationships. And it's up to us if we're going to take that opportunity or not, because the other energy that's coming through for the collective at this time is also unexpected changes. So there might be just random promotions or like job switches that happen, different kind of family drama or secrets that come up also at this time, and really shift dynamics is what I'm getting. So to just be open-minded, and also to not attach to anything, to just be willing to go with the flow. All right. Interestingly enough, at the bottom of the deck, we have nothing is yet set in stone. Mutable moon. And it's interesting because Sagittarius is a mutable sign. So what does that mean? It means that Sagittarius is usually the leader when it comes to change and shift. We have cardinal signs. Cardinal means that they initiate, they begin. They are the starts of the different seasons of the zodiac signs. The mutable signs are the ones that invoke change. They wrap up a season. So for example, we're in Sagittarius season right now. Sagittarius, being mutable, is the change we need to eventually shift into a new season, which is going to be Capricorn, which is a cardinal sign. So again, we just have that cycle that keeps changing and shifting. And again, with this mutable energy coming through, and this card saying that nothing is yet set in stone, don't really buckle into anything. We also have Mercury retrograde coming up in a few weeks as well. So read the fine print. If things feel fishy or off, take a step back. Don't sign anything, and trust your gut also. Let's see what else wants to come through. Interesting. Okay, so we have Wizard of the Woods focus. And we have a 50, which is a 5, which means change and can also mean chaos. So with this card coming out and me being drawn back to the Sagittarius card, it's about maintaining focus on what it is you really want. Because as we know, full moons are all about releasing what we don't want in our lives. And what I like to do with full moons is release what I don't want, but then specify what I want to call in. Also, because like that's the thing with energies, you don't want to just clear stuff out, because then it can create voids or holes in your energetic field. So you want to clear and release, but also call in supportive energy. So let's say you want to clear and release toxic relationships, but then you want to finish that sentence so that I can call in supportive relationships, for example. So it's really important for us to focus at this time on what it is we really want over the next couple weeks, for sure. And if it's standing in more of your power and your authenticity, speak that, maybe write affirmations down for yourself, write a list of things you want to call into your life and read it before bed. Like that, it gets kind of registered by your subconscious and starts to just get implemented into your energetic field. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm having trouble speaking today. But I mean, it is what it is. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have new beginnings. So what I feel for the collective at this time is, as much as things are going to be probably chaotic, there's going to be misunderstandings, you might also feel like you're struggling to communicate, because I've been feeling that way lately. So be patient with yourself. And if you're having a hard conversation with someone and you still don't feel that you've gotten your point across, don't be afraid to have that conversation again. And I know that can be difficult because people might be like, well, we talked about this already. And it's an understanding that you will need to keep talking about something until actual resolution is reached, and that can take some time. And this will depend on what the subject matter is of that conversation. If it's deep stuff, it can be like family trauma and stuff like that, that can take a while to unpack. and it can require multiple difficult conversations. So just be patient with yourself as you navigate that, be it family or work. Also, work, people don't often talk about it, but like there's sometimes set work cultures that can be very hard to dismantle, especially if they're unsupportive, they're toxic, and things like that. It can take a while before change actually occurs. And it's an understanding that we need to maintain that vision of how we want things to be. And the best way to create change, especially in the workplace, is not only to highlight what you don't like what's happening, but to offer suggestions and solutions. Like, it's easy to kind of give constructive feedback and be like, this isn't working, this isn't working, this isn't working. But taking that additional step to be like, here's how we can change and make it better. You're bringing solutions to the table. You're showing that you want to collaborate to make things better. And that's how resolution is achieved a lot quicker. So instead of kind of nitpicking at stuff or being like, hey, this bothers me, have a solution ready on what you'd like to see. If it's somebody's behavior that you don't like or don't appreciate because it's disrespectful, it's hurtful, or what have you, be ready to be like, I appreciate this more, or this is how you could handle this conversation or this situation better, and things like that. So don't be afraid to just step in and actually be that leader, because that's the thing with Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius to me is that teacher, is that guide. And I believe that at this time, as a collective, we're being invited to step into the teacher archetype. A lot of us carry wisdom. A lot of us carry medicine. A lot of us have genius ideas that we are not sharing because we're afraid of how we will be received. And with the full moon today, it's about releasing those fears and stepping into embodying the teacher archetype and knowing that what we have to say is worthy and has value. Oh, interesting. We also have unicorn purity coming out. So to me, this, and again, like just the stars and stuff make me think of the Sagittarius card. As long as your vision is focused on the higher good for the collective, you have nothing to worry about. Stand tall in your vision, even if other people don't understand or agree with what you are saying. Because circling back to what I was saying about like family drama and shadows and things like that, shadows come out the most when you are embodying and stepping into your light. It's just part of this simulation. The more light you hold, the more shadows are going to gravitate towards you to try and challenge your light and to try and oppress you. So if more chaos, more shadowy behaviors are starting to surface around you, it's because you're doing something right, and it's encouraging you to keep your light on regardless. Interesting. We also have Frog Spirit Renewal. So what I'm getting from this card is that for some of you, the partnerships you're in aren't supportive, and this can be work or romantic related partnerships, and it's time to really contemplate if this partnership, whatever this is worth maintaining into the new year. Because for some of you, if this is like a business partnership, you're going to be offered an opportunity in the new year to partner up with somebody who's more supportive and who also shares in your vision. So this is a specific message that's coming through. It's not going to resonate for everyone, but be open to meeting different people, especially if you're looking to venture off on your own or start a business and things like that, and you're looking for a business partner. Use your discernment, trust your intuition, but know that more, I don't want to say qualified, but better suited people might be coming through in the new year for this business. And if you have people that have been toxic and not helping your business grow, it's time to shed and release these people. Ooh. We also have Rainbow Waterfall Miracles. So I think this is a beautiful card to close off this reading. And what I'm getting from this card is expect miracles. As much as things might be chaotic, might be difficult, there's going to be blessings at the end of it. Because as I said, when I went for my walk today, I left in a storm and I came back and it was sunshine. So things might seem turbulent, but there's light on the other side of it, and we need to just keep walking forward and to hold on to our faith regardless of what things might look like right now. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have Mystique Meadow Sanctuary. And what I'm getting from this card is that though things are going to be probably very chaotic and turbulent over the next few weeks, it's important to take time out to care for yourself. Especially with like the holidays around the corner, it's easy for us to get burnt out and kind of give in to all like the craze of shopping, getting everything perfect and things like that. But it's important to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves first and foremost and filling our own cup. And that knowing that that's a boundary also. You know, like I've had a situation over this past weekend where my needs were not being met and I had to express that, hey, I need sleep. I cannot be going to bed that late and things like that. That conversation did not reach the resolution I wanted, so it's going to have to be revisited. But it's holding those boundaries. It's holding those standards, because especially as you walk your path, you start to embody more of your light, more of your inner power. Your standards are naturally going to increase and go up. And it's understanding that when you're about to level up and step into another level of being, the universe comes through to challenge us, to be like, are you actually going to level up and maintain that new standard, or are you going to drop yourself back down? So be ready to be challenged when it comes to your standards and how you want to live your life. But hold your ground. Take time out to recharge. And again, if you have to have a difficult conversation with someone and you don't have the energy to, honor that. Say, hey, we need to talk about this, but I don't currently have the space, the energy, or the mental focus. Are you okay if we push this conversation to this day and time so I can be fully present and we can resolve this for everyone's well-being and things like that, right? Because the other energy that I feel underlying the collective at this time is martyrdom. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but again, as highly sensitive beings and empaths, we can have this tendency to believe that we need to suffer for the other person to be okay. And that is being cleared out also. It's not about us suffering on behalf of anybody else. The other person, they need to suffer if that's part of their path. And it's not up to us to interfere to prevent them from suffering, because we're preventing them from growing and evolving. And another undercurrent that is in the collective among light beings, starseeds, empaths, and stuff like that is the need or desire to rescue people from their pain or their karma. And it's understanding that, again, we are interfering with the other person's growth and evolution when we do that. If they need to fall on their face, they need to fall on their face. And we need to learn to be okay with that and release the need to rescue people from their shit. We have our own stuff to focus on, and Spirit is coming through to say what we need to focus on is being the light for the collective, because that is what is going to create the change we need at this time. It's not rescuing people from their shit. It's being the light and not dimming ourselves anymore for anybody, even though that might be hard. And again, it might spark conflict and misunderstandings. So be the light, hold your boundaries, and speak your truth. Things are going to be challenging over the next few weeks, but as long as you stay true and committed to yourself, things will be okay. I'm sending you all so much love.